tomorrow?
I don't even know who was on the questionable list. I know there were a lot of guys, but a lot of guys are out tonight, I can tell you that. Yeah. Dre's out, Jimmy's out, Melt's out, Al's out. Who am I missing? Seth is out, yeah.
What's your optimism that all or most of them will be able to
I'm optimistic that most of them will be able to play tomorrow, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow.
No, you got to finish up the trip still, but time coming up after that, is that a little bit of a reset point with guys, being banged up?
Yeah, I'm going to give the guys 2 days off, Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll have 2 days of practice, Wednesday, Thursday, and be a good chance for guys to either get away if they want, or get a little rest, get some rehab stuff in, get some shots up, and hopefully we get Steph back. And yeah, this is the season though. It's for everybody. It's just it's a long haul, and you go through stretches, and you just have to take advantage of the times when you do have good stretches.
Are you hearing anything about Steph and his?
I talked to Rick yesterday. He says Steph's doing well. Yeah, he started, back on the court yesterday, and so everything's going well.
You think that next Friday should
I hope
be
so.
Realistic?
Yeah, it's realistic for sure.
Steve Kerr has talked a lot about just how important it is to have perspective of the bigger picture as a coach, and he mentioned recently how he's recalled the 2022 team and thinking about okay, how well you guys started off, but there's the 1-7s that you guys had, and plenty of other stretches during that time too, right? So for you as a coach, how do you have that perspective during the grind of a season when you're going through tough stretches, but you know that you have your eyes on a bigger goal in mind?
Well, it helps to have a lot of talent. So, over the years we've been blessed with great rosters, and you just know when you have a good roster that over the course of 82 games, you're gonna fight through some tough stretches, and but if you stay healthy, you feel good about where you'll end up. It really is a long haul, and just being in the league for as long as I have, as a player and now as a coach, you get a feel for the rhythm of it, and even though the games are emotional, you can't get too up or down, and if you have good leadership within the group and good talent, then you find your way through the tough spots.
Talking to Quinn this morning, he said that the work that he put in on his body over the summer is really what kind of boosted him up this year. Where do you see that kind of affecting his game the most here in year two?
I think his defense has gotten a lot better. The tape shows it. The numbers show it. We're more able to switch with him. We'll see tonight. This is an electric backcourt, and I don't know if we'll do that to him, but he's really been able to hold up much better in pick and roll coverage than he did a year ago, and he's a great young guy. He just he puts in the work. He cares so much. He constantly is getting better and looking for ways to get better. So we're really lucky to have him.
How do you feel like that playoff experience last year, starting in Game 3 against Houston even, just kind of prepared him for this kind of stage?
Well, there's nothing like the playoffs because every weakness is exposed, individually and as a team. The other team has a ton of time to prepare, make adjustments game to game. And so literally everything is exposed. And I think for him last year, that meant, Houston put wings on him. Minnesota put wings on him when he was out there instead of a big. And that changes kind of the defensive equation and what the game looks like and what it requires from Quinton in that spot. And then just the elevated level of athleticism and physicality, given that everybody's fresh and on edge, so great experience for him.
Jonathan and Brandon have given you long stretches of good basketball at various points early in their career. They're both kind of struggling right now. What do you need specifically from those two, right now?
Well, JK, it's always run the floor, take care of the ball. The turnovers have been an issue lately. So, I'm really urging him to get up the floor instead of, holding back in the backcourt and asking for the ball. I want him to be the first guy down the floor, not the last. And I think that's been an issue the last few games. I don't think he's running the floor that well. And then with Brandon, he's got to get off the ball early. When he gets into trouble is when he tries too hard to make plays on his own instead of doing what he does best, which is to move the ball and be part of a five-man group that is really executing. And that's why Pat has closed these last couple of games and played most of the fourth quarters, if not all, because he's doing that. And so Brandon needs to get back to just focusing on the things he does best.
Coach, what have you learned from your time with Kenny Atkinson, who's one of the few rough stretches he's had when being in Cleveland, that he's going to be able to manufacture and weather the storm that he's dealing with currently?
Well, Kenny was really a fantastic assistant for me and for us. I learned a lot from him. He looked at the game a little differently than I did. He had much more of an analytical mind than I did, and it was one of the reasons I brought him in. I would say that we complemented each other really well. I always try to bring in people who cover my weak spots, and Kenny definitely did that. A brilliant basketball mind, very intense. I think just staying close with him and staying in touch with him. I know how much that playoff loss hurt him last year. He's such a competitor, and I think the biggest thing for Kenny is when he's able to just kind of breathe. And I think that helped, his experience here. He's very, he's wired tightly. He's a competitor and he's smart as hell. And so I think the New Yorker in him comes out sometimes, and it helped for him to come out to California and relax a little bit. But I think the perspective that he gained with our team, going through the gauntlet, feeling the ups and downs, definitely has helped him, and I think he's navigating it beautifully now. I mean, it's I think their team is in a really fine spot. They're not blowing through the league like they did last year, but they don't need to. They need to be at their best come playoff time, and I think he's navigating that part of it really well and keeping everything calm, and I think he's doing exactly what he should be.
How do you balance that analytical mind, but also the player development side of what he is and who he is, and trying to envelop that into the players and just the system that's being created? Because he talked about learning that from you so much in his time.
Well, I needed him. Like I said, I needed him to help rebuild our player development program and integrate more analytics into our coaching meetings and helping me understand things better. And I think for every team, it's they have their own unique challenge, whatever that is. And that's why you build a staff a certain way. You want people to complement you, and so you handle it with the staff, with your internal leadership, with the team. And the big part of the season is kind of pacing your team every year with whatever is coming your way. And everybody's circumstances are different, and Kenny's been through it now quite a bit, in the NBA, so he's got a great feel for his team and what he needs to do.
Steve, when it comes to assistants and maybe that intensity, how do you teach assistants to manage that?
How do you teach? I'm sorry?
How do you try to teach assistants maybe to manage intensity where they're maybe not all bound up in type A all the time, and that it can come through in different manners?
Yeah, I think it's just your daily rituals. You meet every day, obviously, as a staff, and then you have practice, and you're together over and over again. And every team has a unique vibe and culture, and I think the best circumstances, you kind of feel it. You feel that vibe, and if you're new to that as a player or as a coach, you take that first month or two and really get a feel for it and find your way, within that culture. But again, that's why everybody you bring is important. Every hire is important because you want a set of values. You want a set of standards, not only for how the players play, but how everybody cares about their business.
How many New York moments did Kenny have in the Bay?
I say that somewhat jokingly because these guys know I have quite a temper myself, but I tend to be more patient before I blow my top. Kenny can but he was a pacer. He just paced around the table every coaches meeting. We would all be sitting there, and he couldn't sit still, so he would just pace. And sometimes I'd ask him how many miles were on his phone, after the meeting. And some of the playoff meetings, he got a really good workout just in our coaches meeting. So.
He actually sits a lot during games. Does that surprise you? Like, he's one of the coaches that actually sits down.
Yeah. Well, he's got a good team, so.